Dudes, I've finally done it. I finally finished something I started. Turns out I got some real issues with that. I get like 90% of the way in, all balls deep into a project, and then lose interest. And I don't know if that's ADHD or something, what it is, but baby steps, right? So instead of building a whole ass car, I started with Honda CRF450R. Now after calculating the time, the money that went into it, was it worth it? I'd say no, probably not. But I did it for the experience. After all is said and done, she's a real beast. But I still have some dialing in to do. Welcome to Speed Demon Power Sports. In the last video, we showed you guys how we do bike part outs. That's a little way of just making a bit of passive income to kind of help us fund our little projects and try to make it through this thing we call a hobby. In today's video, I'm gonna show you the full rebuild of my CRF450R. Now, take note, I didn't do any real precise, this is how you do it. I feel like there's so many videos out there online already that are all super good and well and detailed, and I'm in no way a pro. But this is my first engine build, first bike build in 25 years. So this is how it went. Today's victim, a Honda CRF450R. Just like that one, just not that one, that's not mine, that's my cousin Nathan. Now, I chose the Honda CRF450R because, I mean, you can't really go wrong with Honda. And back in the day when I was racing these things, I raced a bike much like this. That was like 25 years ago. I figured the 450 was in the same class as the 250R, and it pulls. So step number one was getting the bike into the shop and all torn apart. I pulled the engine out before I actually started filming and was left with a rolling chassis. This thing was super crusty, pretty gross. It had been sitting in a barn, I think, for a couple years. So I got it, took it all down, took it apart, and cleaned it up. When I picked up the bike at the price I got it for, obviously there were some problems. The head was cracked on the side. Previous owner said it was leaking coolant, so instead of putting antifreeze in it all the time, he was just putting straight water. Bike got left out for winter, water froze inside the head, expanded, and pushed out the side of the head. And that got real pricey real quick. When I got the motor out, I pulled off the head, pulled off the cylinder, checked out the condition of the piston and everything else going on. With that all off and opened up, it was a real sensuous moment. Like, since it was already there, you might as well just rebuild the entire engine. Now, to get the job done, I ordered one of those wrench rabbit kits altogether. Mine was from Vertex, I think. Let me get the box. Let's see what's inside the rebuild kit. Now, I have a new cylinder and a new head over on the shelf. I'll take those out later. But I want to see what's included in here. O-rings, all kinds of stuff. So we'll have to check as I take things apart, make sure that I actually have that seal of that piece. Main bearings, there's a new piston. The rings in there, we won't take those out yet. Timing chain, got some main seals, engine oil seal kit. This is the water pump bearing. And the last piece of the puzzle, the last box right here, is the new crank. With the motor all stripped down into pieces, it was time to clean everything up, and since it was already there, well, I knew I could make this really nice. So I went to town with these Pryme MX wheels. If you guys don't know about that, check it out, search it up, look it up. I'm gonna put a link in the description also. Cleaned up all the casings and everything on this bike, real nice. The valve cover as well. The next step to making everything look good, now that the engine was coming together, was powder coating and Cerakoting these pieces to give the engine a pretty unique look. Now, that's something else that we do here in-house at Speed Demon Power Sports, is we powder coat and Cerakote. So this bike is kind of being put together as a demonstration of what we can actually do here. Frame, the chassis, everything all cleaned up, polished up, looking bling, looking nice. The next step was obviously to putting that motor back in, and that's definitely a moment where things start to come together nicely and you start to see the vision at the end. Piece by piece, hour by hour, all the work gone into it. It's starting to look like something real cool. Now that the bike was all back together, it's time for that infamous first start. Now, I lost the clip. I'm sorry, but it runs. The only thing left to do now is put the bike through its paces. I'm not really sure what I want to do with this bike after. I find it's like really crazy fast, so it's almost too much. I might sell it, might trade it in for something, might keep it around. Before I decide to sell it or do anything with it, I gotta put some time into it, ride it. I wanna put a good 10 hours in and make sure everything checks out and everything's okay. So it was time to go give this thing a test drive.
You guys seeing that shit?
All right, boys, I'm gonna let her cool down and then check the oil and check everything. It was leaking like crazy out there. It didn't seem to leak under oil pressure. Something's up with that seal in my oil filter for sure. Drop the oil, see what the oil looks like, because that's the first time the bike's really been ran since I rebuilt it. So let's just hop in there. Let's get into it. Let's do it. All right. Yep. Try to catch a little bit, see if we can see shit in it. The idea with this one is like the oil will soak through. I wish the paper towel was completely white. It's not, but if it was, then it would just leave whatever. If there's any metal chunks and shit, it's gonna be right there. And she's been leaking oil like a pig straight here from the oil filter cover. So since I dropped the oil, I'm gonna put a new oil filter in it. And sorry, Nathan, dude, but I'm stealing your little oil filter cover. Here we go. I guess this will kind of be a moment you've all been waiting for kind of moment. Let's take a look underneath this in this oil filter and see what she look like. This will be a telltale sign for sure if the oil filter has all kinds of metal and shit. We're screwed, but it doesn't look bad. Yeah. Heck, I'd say it's pretty clean. Okay, now that's all clean. Let's drop a new filter in it. Let's hope I got that right. Let's throw some oil in this thing. Test number 2.
Aucune oiut. Woo!
So there it is. She's done. She's all dialed in. And I can't tell you how happy I am to complete this project and have it where it is and run so good. It's a real beast. It's kind of hard to hang on to it. I know it's got its place in the fleet, but it's not for back here. I'm gonna need some open space for this. I wanna load these things up and go to the sand dunes one day with all the guys, maybe somewhere where we can really rip them, go fast, but this thing is a complete monster. So stay tuned and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.